obviously it was a good win the other night, but this is a very, very difficult stretch of games. Good teams and a lot of them on the road. Can you kind of talk about where your team is now and the challenges that you're facing here in the next handful of games?
Yeah, I mean, this is a critical stretch for us, and certainly going on the road, it's playing some really good competition, really good programs, and we're kind of in the middle of 2 and 3, and so we got to try and make something happen. I think this is a key stretch in our season, and we've had some good examples of getting some good wins on the road this year with Creighton and Oregon, and hopefully we're up to the challenge, and we get a couple of more extra days here of practice to prepare for Saturday.
Bobby, you had on Monday starting 3 bigs with Kamani and Alonzo and Enoch. I know that Stanford has their 4 leading scorers are all guys that are 6'7" or above. How much of a difficult task or how much do you need to get out of your bigs, especially on Saturday night?
Yeah, I mean, it's they're healthy. I think Kamani's coming off a really good performance. He's got to be feeling good about himself. Jalen Graham, same thing, just with how he certainly played against Colorado in the first half, and then how he ended that game with Utah. So hoping those guys continue to build off that. It's good to get Enoch that experience, and so certainly those guys are going to be important, not only for Saturday but for the next 3 games, because we're looking at playing teams that have very good front courts and are very tall and have great size. So we're going to need these guys to be performing at a really good level. I still haven't really decided on what I'm doing with my lineups, and the guys that have been playing will play and get their minutes regardless of whether they start the game or not. But I like some of the things about going big initially in that Utah game, and we'll just see how practice shakes out the next 2 days, and we'll decide on that on Saturday.
So, Bobby, on that note, I mean, when you see Jalen and Marion playing so well off the bench, is it kind of a hard call as a head coach to say, I like him in this role, or I actually need him now more to be in the starting lineup?
You don't want to disturb things that are working. That's always a thought. I remember back to moving Lonzo Verge to the bench a couple of years ago, and he really performed well and put up big numbers, and the minutes were there. So I mean, it's I'm not saying that I think a guy like Marion is used to starting, and that's probably more comfortable in his wheelhouse, just based on how long he's been playing college basketball and in that type of role. So, but it was good to see him, again, step up and make some big plays on offense, and just overall, just seeing our team in the second half of the Utah game, shoot good percentages and put points on the board was just relief, to see that, and hoping we could, again, continue to develop that, that part of our team.
Bobby, just working your way back from the COVID issues with your team, the interruptions, have you had any sort of updated perspective on how you guys are doing as you go through this week with practices?
Yeah, it afforded us the opportunity after Monday, and playing 2 games in 3 days with not having a lot of time to let the guys recover from that. And then we had a fair amount of our normal guys in practice yesterday, but did not have to put my foot on the gas pedal and just kind of design the practice to whereas we're still staying fresh and we're getting that foundation that we need. And then today's will be way more preparation for Saturday and dialing into our opponent and focusing on the things that are going to be necessary to win. And, we should have everyone available today, in our practice.
Just to follow up, do you think that there's a positivity now that's just kind of knowing that maybe the worst is behind you and getting a win and some things that maybe can set you on a better trajectory?
You just don't like to get on that Zoom call and tell the guys, like, hey, here we go again. We got to stop, and this is what's going to, the next 2 weeks will look like. So having to do that a few weeks ago was brutal. But we also said, like, there were so many positives that cases that the likelihood of us stopping, again, is very low unless our opponent has issues. So, we feel like at this point now it's full steam ahead to finish up the rest of our schedule.
Bobby, Enoch reclassified. He got a late start. Where is he in his development, and where do you think he still needs to make some strides?
He's, I'd like to see him just, simplify things a little more, maybe around the basket. Just, he's so big and strong, and using that frame and using his power to really continue to finish around the basket and just show that motor all the time. And he's got a great attitude. He's really he comes in every day looking to work and get better, and he's very coachable. So I think that you're going to see continued development. And I think that with bigger players, more so than even guards, how much a guy could rapidly develop really in an instant is something. When the light bulb really comes on for some of those big guys, they could really make a big jump. So we're just hoping to continue to get a lot of repetitions under his belt in practice and get him more experience on the court. And I think he's obviously has a very bright future ahead of him.
Hey, Bobby, hope all is well. This might sound like just kind of a weird question, but given everything you guys have been through the last couple of years and just trying to get back to playing basketball, I mean, how are you doing, one, through all this, and then two, how have you maybe remained positive that everything's going to work out sooner or later?
Yeah, thanks, Cam. It was like I said, having to do those calls and knowing that we were going to stop again, and it just, again, deja vu from last year, and some of the injuries and whatnot. But yeah, just trying to just focus on the positives and getting a win the way we did it. Close game, finding a way to win. Hopefully that could get us on a good trajectory from this point on, and just stay in a solid routine of practicing and playing games and trying to get some momentum. I think we have a lot to play for, and still 15 league games, so we have a lot of opportunities out there.
And then have you learned anything about maybe you as a coach during this time that you didn't know before going through all this?
And I never thought I could be patient or just tolerant to a degree of circumstances. I just think that has been being a more tolerant person, understanding that there are so many things beyond your control, and just trying to make the best of the situation. I think I would have gotten way more negative and down on myself, maybe in prior years. I'm just trying to, stay positive for the group and do the best I can.
Thanks, Bobby.
Mike Caratenuto.
Thanks, Doug. Hey, Coach, to kind of piggyback off that, I mean, obviously last year you touched on it quite a bit. Everybody did not really knowing how things were going to turn out and to deal with things. So when you do get shut down this year, not that it's obviously easy, but was it a little bit easier for you to get things started back up just because of dealing with everything last year?
To a degree, I think it's you're not in uncharted territory, so you've been through a similar situation. A whole different group. The group was entirely different. I mean, that's the one thing I'll say about this team, and certainly, we have our flaws, but one of those, one thing that's not a flaw is their attitude and their work ethic for the most part, and how they come into every day with a good attitude. And it's really, it's been refreshing this year. I think last year felt more draining. Maybe that's something to do with just all the expectations and then the group not really functioning well together. I think this group genuinely, likes each other, plays together, plays the right way. And certainly we're limited in certain areas and haven't done some things that we hope we could have statistically, and things that would help us win more games. But it's been a fun team to coach.
Thank you.
No hands up. Does anybody got something? Go ahead, Gabe.
Bobby, the last 4 years, you guys have been top 45 in adjusted tempo. I know this year it's like 163, I think, at the moment. How has that been an adjustment for you to kind of play at a slower tempo and have more grinded out type games?
Yeah, I mean, it's in a way, it's expanding my horizons because it's not really an ideal way that we've played and we've had success here. And but I just think having more possessions necessarily isn't the best thing for us. I think we have to hang our hat defensively on forcing our opponents to take late tough shots in a possession and see if we could create some turnovers. I thought that was a real plus versus Utah in that game. We didn't really touch on after was just the points off turnovers. And, that was a key for us getting that victory. And so, yeah, it's a different way of playing. And I'm used to playing games in the 70s and 80s and 90s and having success. But this year we're finding ourselves, trying to win in the 60s. So we got to make sure we bring, our best effort on defense, to the table. And I'm sure we'll eventually gravitate back to the way of playing that I'm more accustomed to. But in this moment, this is how we have to get it done.
Anybody else?
Doug,
Thanks,
you mind
guys.
one
Have
more?
a great day.
Hey, Cam, go ahead. You got one more?
Oh, Cam, you got one, Cam?
Hey, Bobby, it's not a college basketball question, more of an NBA, if you don't mind. Just curious, what do you think of the job Monty has done with the Suns, and do you ever get a chance to watch them at all?
I do. I mean, I followed their run last year through the playoffs, and yeah, I mean, I'm a huge fan of his and just how he, I've probably taken a couple of things that they've run on offense to try and use it. I know last year for Josh Christopher, when you kind of watch guys like Devin Booker and see what coaches are doing for those type of players to try and get them shots. And so, yeah, I've been a fan of not only his style, but just, his demeanor and the way he conducts himself and the way he runs, that program and that organization and how he brings it all together has been fantastic. And just, they're an exciting and fun team to watch.
Thanks, Bobby.
Everybody else good?
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
All right. Thanks,
Coach.
Coach.